So if you guys haven't seen, in the past few days, or really past week or so, Tales of Tanorio has been delayed. But not only has it been delayed once, it has been delayed twice. Now, I want to go ahead here and just start off with a really quick disclaimer before I even remotely get into this video or talk about the delay or anything like that. And I want to go ahead here and just give out my my sympathies to Utopia, the main scripter. I believe he's main scripter, main coder for the actual game. And I want to give a big shout out and kind of big, warm welcome to hopefully him getting better and hopefully, him improving over time. Because if you guys have not known that recently he was hospitalized, and he has been hospitalized. And so because of that hospitalization, he has not been able to update the game, which essentially then has delayed the game for the second time now. And I just want to give a really big warm, gift, shout out to him that, I really hope you get better, man. And that, we're only hoping for the best for you. All the content creators, everyone who's, in, the Discord, as well as everyone who's just, trying to support the game. All of us are trying to give you, as much wishes and as we possibly can to make sure that, you're in the best health, mentally and physically, for this game, because I know for the past week, what you've been going through most likely has been torture. And so, yeah, just going to give a really big shout out to him. And I really do hope that he gets better, and that nothing that is said in this video is against him, or any of the reasoning is against him for being, late with, obviously delivering us with updates or things like that because of the condition that he's currently in. So yeah, just hope for the best for him, and that, big shout outs to him. As well as I also just want to give a huge shout out to the dev team. And I want to go ahead here and just say this right now. Stop sending the dev team death threats. I know people on the internet, you're doing it because it's funny. You're doing it because of your kids. You're doing it because of whatever. Because this is the fourth time technically the game has been delayed. Stop doing that. It's super immature. Nobody asked for you to do that. That is over excessive. It's something you shouldn't be sending to anybody, because what if they send it to you? What happens if it was you on the other end of that? You don't know how that would end. So stop sending death threats at all. It's really just one. It's just awful behavior. It is despicable behavior, and it's just something I would never wish on anybody. So just stop doing that, because that's just extremely immature. Even if you're doing it as a joke, just stop. Just stop. It is not supported. You will be banned if we see it in the community, and just stop doing that, please. But moving on from that. Like I said, big shout out to this dev team. I want to go ahead here and just start with the fact that I do stand by the dev team in delaying the game. I do think overall what they did for delaying the game because of his hospitalization was for the best. I did see a lot of people saying oh, maybe they should just release the game anyway. And I do have some gripes with that, but for what they did at the current moment of what they have available to them, I do believe they did the best option. I don't think releasing the game today would have changed anything. I don't think trying to rush Utopia to get better or anything like that is going to help anybody. I think it's just going to make the game worse. I think it's going to make the community worse. It's going to have more bugs. The game is going to look awful, and then we're just going to be back where we started with having no really good games. Not only on Roblox, but in the creature capturing genre right now, whatsoever, besides essentially Pal World. But yeah, so I don't really like doing drama videos like this. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to try to keep it short. I'm going to try to make this an 8-minute long video, so I'm not going to be talking too much longer for you guys. But I do want to go out here and I do want to talk a little bit about the delay and some things that I'm really hoping that the dev team kind of takes into consideration moving forward, as well as also some of the concerns that people actually had in the community. I want to go ahead and take that as well. So if Lucky or Utopia or B or anybody who's working on the dev team currently, or the voice acting team as well, sees this, I'm not meaning this in any destructive way. I want this to be constructive criticism, and this is coming mostly from a community manager type of standpoint. I would definitely say this is more of a community manager type of standpoint and how the game should move forward from here, in my personal opinion. And this is just my personal opinion. Like I said, I will stand by the devs and what they do. I believe they're great people. I need the community to stop sending them death threats or trying to harass them to upload the game or anything like that. That is not called for, and it is extremely unwelcome in this community. But I do want to go ahead here and do talk a little bit about it, because as unfortunate as it is, the game is going to be delayed for the fourth time. And I do believe some people, and I didn't talk about it the first time. If you guys haven't noticed, when the first delay happened, I didn't make a video or anything about it. And I didn't make a video about it because I didn't think it was necessary. I didn't think, oh, this is the third delay technically for the game. I was thinking, a week's not going to be that long. We're going to be good. Everything is going to be fine. And it still is. Trust me, it still is. But I just, it's starting to get to the point where the game, And yet again, I totally get, like, Utopia got hospitalized. That's why you guys didn't put the game on hold. But I think that the team can take this and use this as an opportunity to think ahead for the future so this situation doesn't happen again. Because I really do find it surprising. And of course, there's been conflicting statements as well. Some people said, hey, a lot of the dev team knew that Utopia got hospitalized yesterday, which was the day before I'm recording this, of the actual delay. Some people have said, they didn't know until about the morning time, so we don't know. And if that is the case, that they did know during the nighttime, there was, some people within the community that had released some information at that time, who technically should have already known that he was in the hospital and that the game was going to be delayed, and they could have essentially told us yesterday, but they didn't. I don't know if that is true or not. I'm not going to speak on that behalf on whether or not that is true or not, because I just simply do not know. But I would like if somebody on the dev team could comment on it and say, hey, did we know this the day before or the day after? Announcing this 2 hours before launch was just not the best idea. Even if you knew he was hospitalized, I still think potentially, of course, obviously you want to get it out as soon as you possibly can, but I don't know. It does feel so sad to have it happen like right before the delay. And not only because this is right before delay for the first time, but technically for the second. Which is why I really wanted to go into the notion, because a lot of people were talking about a lot of things that were kind of questionable to me within the Discord, on why is there only one person who's ahead of this game, who's running himself into the ground to try to get it correct, and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. And I also think that's a little bit true. I do want to know, like, yes, he is your main scripter, but I do want to know, and this is just a genuine question. This isn't harassment, or, like I said, I completely understand the situation they were in, and I totally agree with them shutting the game down. But I do want to know why only one person technically is the head actual scripter for working on the game. I would like to know that, because I do think putting all of your baskets into one person, especially one person that in the past has known to be sick, as well as having mental problems, as well as also pushing himself consistently throughout the weeks, just barely getting any sleep, barely doing anything, stressing over the community and everything else in the game. Just why would you rely on just one person? Why does nobody else on the team have access or the ability to obviously keep the game updated, as well as things like that? So I think in the future, you guys need to start getting more head scripters. I think that is the best thing that you can do to make sure that this doesn't happen, so we're not relying on one person, because it's like, it's essentially saying, like, there is no I in team, right? But then, you have to take off that I when a medical emergency happens. And so when the I happens, then the entire team falls apart. And do you really want that entire team to fall apart all the time, especially with the community that you have now? Because I would understand if this was the first delay, even the second delay, whatever. But this was technically the fourth delay, and you had a delay before that was extremely similar. And I thought, like, once you saw that delay, you saw the backlash that the community has, because this community is crazy. I've never seen people who just lash out and are so crazy like this, but these people are crazy. I didn't realize how crazy these people were until you start checking general chat and the ideas. I think a damage control needs to be done. I think an entirely separate team needs to be put into place to be able to deal with stuff like this, besides just locking general chat for a few hours, or just locking the ideas chat for a few hours. Because at the end of the day, people are still going to go on Twitter, people are still going to be on YouTube, people are still going to be disappointed. And at the end of the day, the game's reputation is kind of being dragged through the mud. And I hate the fact that it's like that, because this is going to be one of the best, if not the best game on Roblox. Like, let's be real. So I just feel like there wasn't enough damage control. And yet again, I like I said, they totally didn't expect any of this stuff to happen, but I think that they should start putting in precautions in the future, so in case something like this does happen, that we can keep the devs in a perfect mental health, physical health as well, in a good condition, but you can still also deliver those updates so you don't have to deal with the stress of this community, because this community stress is crazy. Like, and I know for a fact that that's one of the things that probably ended up making it even worse for Utopia, unfortunately. And, that's just concerning. So I definitely think that's concerning, and something that they need to try to focus on, and just getting more people on the team. And I think that does come also with a little bit of the fact that a lot of the time I feel like, I don't know, because like I said, there was another comment by Lucky where he said Utopia potentially took a whole entire year off of college to be able to work on this game, which I think is amazing, because he believes that's how much the passion of the project is. One of the things that I want to know is how many people have actually put money into the game already, because you can already buy the Tanorio Plus. I believe that's what it is. It's the Tanorio Plus or the Tamer Plus, which is essentially like a game pass for the game, and it's 500 Robux. I want to know how many people have already bought that, because if I just based off of how many people have bought that, I think you could see like a small trajectory of how many people not only want to play the game, but also just how many people are willing to put money into the game. And I think if you realized how much money this game is actually going to make, especially on how easy it is sometimes to just capitalize on some, features in monster catching games that you can easily get for Robux that people are going to be willing to spend without a shadow of a doubt, I think this game can make potentially millions of Robux. I genuinely do believe that the cost, versus, the actual, money actually put back into the game system is going to be, I think, proportional or maybe even better. And I do think that spending that money on an extra dev team or extra people to be able to keep some stuff in line is going to be more worth it in the future than you trying to keep this really small team. Now, there is advantages to a smaller team, like less leaks, more, confined coding, working with people who you're, accurate with and stuff, like that. But I do feel like at some point in time that the developers need to take it back, and they're pushing a lot on themselves at the last moment. And I'm already rambling a little bit too much about that, so I don't want to go too much into that, but I do think maybe more members need to be added to the team. I just think it's something crucial. There's only 2 other points I really wanted to make. Really 3, but I'm going to put it down to 2. So the first one is going to be more about the whole community refunds thing. Now, I saw a lot of people were saying that people wanted refunds for the Tamer Plus, and I genuinely think that is fair. I do not know if they can actually physically give them refunds. I don't know if they'd have to contact Roblox for that, but I do believe that people asking for refunds is not exactly a negative to the game, because people put in the money into the Tamer Plus expecting the game to come out in a few hours, so they were going to be able to experience and have everything that they had that you get with the Tamer Plus. And now the game got delayed by a week, so people essentially spent 500 Robux for something that they physically do not have. There wasn't like a buff to their Roblox avatar, it wasn't clothes or anything that they instantly got or anything like that. It was 500 Robux into a game that they don't even know if they like yet. They haven't even played it yet. They haven't experienced it yet. They haven't gotten the boost or the benefits yet. We don't know, like I said, we know the rates and everything, but we don't actually know pretty much how well functioning or how well input into the game they actually are, right? We don't know any of that. People just essentially gave you 500 Robux to say, hey, I want to support this game. That's what I like. I think this game is going to be great. I want to give you guys 500 Robux, and bada bing, bada boom, that's going to be that, right? And so they gave it to him, and then now the game has not only been pushed back a week, they still haven't been able to play it, and then now the game is delayed, and it is essentially delayed indefinitely until Lucky says something else. But sorry about that, I'm getting Discord pings in the background, but it is essentially like it really is, and I mean when I say this, it really is just like they gave you 500 Robux, and then when are they going to see the return? When the game comes out, but when is the game going to come out? Which comes over to my third term, where I still think they should give people refunds if they ask for it. I believe that's not disrespectful or anything. I just believe people haven't gotten what they want their money for. They spent their money to be able to play the game, and they can't currently do that. And so as awesome as it is to be like, yo, let's go support the developers, let's give them this money, they need the money, I'm very grateful for the fact that they can have that. I think if they do want a refund, they should be able to get it. I don't know if they are physically able to do that, though. I don't know if that's a Roblox issue where they have to contact Roblox and then give everybody else their issues, or if they would have to manually go back and try to give everybody back their issues, or if they can't do that, at all. Like maybe there is no just refund system, maybe they just keep it. I don't know. So I saw some people complaining about that, the fact that people were asking for refunds. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think people asking for refunds it's totally up to them because they spent the money. It's not like it's a super, super large amount of money. It's like $5 or something like that. Maybe a little bit more. It might be like $6. But I do believe they have the right to a refund. I do believe because the game hasn't came out, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. They spent it ahead of time expecting to be instantly gain access to the game, and then they even waited an entire week and they still didn't have access to the game. I don't see anything particularly wrong with that. I just think, it should be taken with caution. That's all I should say. And then that leads to the final point of I don't think they should announce a release date for this game. I'm just going to be so real. I think they should just put the release date on an indefinite wait. and then release it when it's ready. Because what I feel like, especially what led up to Utopia getting to this point of where it was so bad, is the fact that they're pushing themselves so hard to hit dates that they are just clearly not ready for. And yet again, I don't know if that's actually how it is with the game development. I don't know if that's how it actually is with the game, because I don't have my hands on the game. I don't physically have what the game is like. Maybe they are ready to release, and maybe these bugs they were just minor, but they just decided to take, kind of the slow, easy route with it. I don't know, because I don't physically have the game. But from everything that they've kind of been showing us, and yet again, this is another community manager side thing. From what they've been showing us, to me, from the outside look, from just what you've been showing me from news, from leaks and everything, it seems like you definitely have a really good game in development here. You have a very, 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 very solid game in development, and that you have the base and everything lined up to it, but there is a bunch of bugs and things that you just need to work out that is definitely going to take maybe another month or two of really refined testing. I mean, really refined testing, so that you could just release it and not have to worry about as many bugs. Of course, when you release, there's going to be more bugs because you have way more players and way more people who are going to do unique things. So obviously bugs are going to come up. But I genuinely cannot tell you if the game is truly ready for release, or if they are just saying we're ready for a release, but we are expecting bugs and everything else when the game launches. I don't know. I genuinely cannot tell you, but yeah, I just think they need to put the game on an indefinite release. I say just work through all the bugs, work through the third gym, just release it with how you wanted it, the third gym. It's going to disappoint people, but if they continue to do some of the stuff we've been doing, we can still hype up the game. We can still keep the game alive. We can still keep the community together. And I think in the end, it will still be worth it, and overall a better experience because of it. But that's just my opinion, right? That's not the opinion of every other, content creator. That's definitely not the opinion of the dev team. And that's just my personal opinion. And like I said, big shout outs to all of the dev team, because, they're diligently working on this game and really trying to make it a possibility for us. I can't thank them enough. And obviously, amazing, shout out to Utopia. I really, really hope he gets better soon. And obviously take your time, nobody's rushing you to come back to this game, but I do hope that you can get better soon. And I'm sorry for dragging on and ranting about this. I did not want this video to be this long. But I do think that the dev team should listen a little bit to this. I do think they should take into consideration maybe giving some people who are reasonable, people who are actually reasonable, not babies and triumphant, people who are actually reasonable, who are just unsure of the project right now. I do think they could give them refunds. I don't think it's disrespectful. I think it's a way of that they just don't know if they actually want to support this game. And I don't know if that's possible or not, like I said, but I just really hope that, within the few coming weeks, we can get some solid, concrete information. And like I said, the next time we get an update from Utopia, which will probably be tomorrow, and we can get an official release date, I will private this video. This video is probably going to end up getting privated. But yeah, I just had to get that off my chest. It was bothering me, and like I said, I didn't comment on the first delay because I didn't think the first delay was going to be that big of a deal. I really honestly didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. But now that Utopia has been hospitalized, I do think it is a really big deal. I do think there's a lot of considerations that the team needs to take into, the future, so that this doesn't happen again. Or something like this doesn't happen again, and that they can just keep proper community feedback, and that, maybe the community management could be a little bit tighter, a little bit more refined, and just having a few more people on the team, because I genuinely think the investment that they put into the people who get on the team and the money that they're going to make from releasing this game is going to be, I think overall it's going to be a very good, not only investment for them, but in the long run, I think it'll be a great investment. But, obviously I don't have sales figures. Obviously I don't have the numbers. So that will definitely be up to the dev team. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all really enjoyed it. And hopefully I get to see you guys on my next video, which will be a lot lighter, hopefully. And hopefully my next video is probably going to end up being something completely different. It's probably going to be pocket anime. I'm going to be real because that's coming out tomorrow. So I'm definitely going to be recording gameplay for that because I already have early access. So yeah, my next video will probably be pocket anime, but hopefully in, a few weeks time, or whenever the Tales team needs it, I can come back with some awesome and amazing Tales of Tanorio content for you guys. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Love you guys. And thank you, the dev team, for everything you've done for this game. I really appreciate it. See you guys on the next one. Peace.